The moment a confident person walks into a room, something shifts. Research shows it takes a fraction of a second for your brain to rank itself against them, an automatic comparison that triggers the same stress response as a physical threat. Cortisol rises, the amygdala fires, and none of it has anything to do with what the confident person actually did. That discomfort may reveal far more about you than about them. Social comparison is a reflex that operates beneath conscious awareness. The brain scans the room, searching for cues, and instantly measures itself against anyone who stands out. In the presence of a confident peer, this process accelerates. The observer does not choose to compare. They simply do. Leon Festinger first described this phenomenon in 1954, noting that people seek to understand themselves by referencing others, especially when no clear external standard exists. The result is an immediate, almost involuntary ranking. Am I as capable, as articulate, as worthy of attention? This happens even in everyday moments. Picture someone watching a colleague deliver a job pitch with steady hands and clear conviction. The observer's mind races to assess, how would I perform in their place? The more similar the observer feels to the confident person, same field, same age, or even just similar background, the sharper the comparison. Research shows that when the domain is personally relevant, the effect intensifies. If the confident person excels in an area the observer values, discomfort rises. The self-evaluation maintenance model, developed by Abraham Tesser, explains that threat is greatest when a peer's success hits close to home. If the confident individual is perceived as a direct rival, the observer's self-esteem takes a measurable dip. Laboratory studies confirm that upward comparison to a confident target creates a medium effect on negative feelings, with Cohen's d around 0.45. The impact is not limited to envy. Observers report diminished liking for the confident person, even when that person has done nothing hostile. In organizational settings, this can translate to lower willingness to collaborate or share ideas. The discomfort stems not from the confident person's intent, but from the observer's own internal metrics. The mind interprets visible self-assurance as a signal of higher status, and the automatic comparison mechanism does the rest. This split-second process is not a flaw in human nature. It is a built-in cognitive tool designed to help people orient themselves in social hierarchies. But when self-evaluation turns upward, it can leave the observer feeling less secure, more defensive, or quietly resentful. The confident person, meanwhile, may be unaware that anything has changed. The tension is set in motion by the brain's own drive to measure and rank, long before any conscious emotion or judgment takes hold. Blame is a quiet shield. When confidence unsettles, the mind sometimes looks outward for the source of discomfort rather than inward. This is the territory of projection, a defense mechanism where people unconsciously assign their own insecurities to someone else. In the workplace, it can sound like a quiet colleague describing a confident peer as arrogant or showing off, even if the confident person has said little or nothing provocative. The real discomfort often lives inside the observer, not the target. Projection is not just a psychological idea, it has roots in stress biology. Studies using cortisol sampling and brain imaging show that when people feel their status is threatened by someone else's self-assurance, their bodies react as if facing real danger. The amygdala, a region linked to fear and vigilance, lights up in response to confident displays. Salivary cortisol levels rise, marking the body's stress response. This physiological arousal primes the mind for defense, sometimes through withdrawal, sometimes through subtle acts of sabotage, but often through blaming the confident person for imagined faults. Narcissistic vulnerability can intensify this pattern. People who rely on external validation are especially sensitive to perceived status threats. When a confident colleague enters the scene, the fragile self-esteem of the observer may trigger a cascade of defensive moves, denial, gossip, or harsh criticism. These reactions are not always loud. Sometimes they unfold in whispered conversations or private judgments that paint the confident person as overbearing, even when their actions are measured. Consider the quiet colleague who rarely speaks up in meetings. When someone else delivers a poised presentation, the quiet observer might feel a pang of inadequacy. Rather than sitting with that discomfort, the mind finds relief in projection. She is trying too hard, or he is just showing off. In truth, these judgments often reflect the observer's own fear of falling short. Over time, this cycle can erode trust within teams, making collaboration more difficult. Physiological data backs up these patterns. In experiments, observers exposed to confident peers show elevated stress markers and report more negative attributions, even when the confident target behaves neutrally. The body's stress response, rooted in evolutionary survival, prepares for threat. In modern life, the threat is often social rather than physical. Defensive projection becomes a way to protect self-worth, even if it means misreading another person's intentions. Spotting these patterns in daily life takes self-awareness. When discomfort arises in the presence of confidence, it is worth asking whether the reaction is truly about the other person, or if it is a reflection of something internal. This recognition is the first step toward breaking the cycle of projection and building healthier, more honest interactions. A boardroom fills with quiet tension as a confident presenter stands to deliver quarterly results. Their voice is steady, posture relaxed, and every answer comes without hesitation. Around the table, reactions ripple beneath the surface. Data from workplace studies reveal that speakers who project high confidence are interrupted about 1.8 times more often than their less assured peers. The interruptions are not always hostile. Sometimes they are framed as clarifying questions, sometimes as challenges, but the pattern holds. Confidence draws attention, and with it, scrutiny. In a classroom, a student takes the lead during a group project presentation. Their classmates watch as they speak with certainty, making eye contact and gesturing with ease. Peer evaluations collected after such presentations show a consistent pattern. Students who display overt confidence receive likability scores that are 5 to 7 percentage points lower than their more reserved counterparts. Even when the content is strong, confidence alone can trigger a subtle drop in peer approval. Online, a social media influencer posts a video brimming with self-assurance, direct gaze, bold statements, a clear sense of purpose. In the comments, reactions split. Some viewers express admiration, but others respond with envy or skepticism. A study by Vogel and colleagues found a measurable correlation. The more confident a person appears in their posts, the higher the envy reported by viewers, especially among those with lower self-esteem. These everyday situations illustrate how visible confidence can spark discomfort, not because of what is said, but because of how it is received in different social arenas. Signals of confidence are rarely as simple as they appear. Take the case of a young entrepreneur who steps into a pitch meeting, voice steady and posture upright. Beneath the surface, anxiety pulses through her mind, but outwardly, every gesture signals self-assurance. Observers read these cues quickly, often filling in the gaps with their own assumptions about intent and character. Research by Rudman and Glick finds that when women display assertiveness in professional settings, they are rated as more competent but less warm than men, a pattern sometimes called the backlash effect. This penalty is not distributed equally. Identity markers like gender, race, or age can magnify the social cost of visible confidence. Susan Fisk's stereotype content model explains that people tend to sort others along axes of warmth and competence. Confident individuals, especially from underrepresented groups, are often slotted into the cold but capable category. The result is a double standard. What reads as leadership in one person may be misread as arrogance or threat in another. These snap judgments carry real-world consequences, shaping who is trusted, promoted, or even heard. The signals people send and the meanings others assign are not always aligned. Pausing to question these automatic interpretations can reveal how much of the discomfort lies in perception, not reality. Awareness is the first step, but practical habits make the difference. For people who tend to project confidence, 4 behaviors can reduce unintended discomfort. Soften directness with genuine warmth, invite input from quieter voices, acknowledge uncertainty when it is real, and check for nonverbal cues that signal tension in others. These small adjustments can lower barriers and invite collaboration without sacrificing clarity or self-assurance. Observers who feel unsettled by confident people can also shift their experience. 4 actions help. Pause to notice if discomfort is rooted in self-comparison. Ask what specific quality feels threatening. Reframe the other's confidence as a skill rather than a personal challenge, and reflect on personal strengths that stand apart from the current context. These habits redirect attention from threat to curiosity, turning discomfort into a prompt for growth. Neither side can control every reaction, but both can shape the space between confidence and discomfort. With practice, self-awareness becomes a tool for more honest, less defensive interactions. Every day, self-assurance shapes silent dynamics in our workplaces and relationships. As research shows, these reactions reveal more about our internal landscape than the confident person across from us. Understanding this pattern isn't just psychology, it's self-awareness in action. The real shift begins when we recognize our own responses,